What was that? Good. Good. Anyone nervous? No. Okay, well, this talk isn't going to get into the nitty-gritty. Actually, yeah, the whole point of this talk is we can't teach you every situation that you might possibly run into on a mission trip. So our hope today is to be able to equip you just with the mindset, like how to think in these situations, how to be aware, like what kinds of things to look out for so that you can, in the moment, make your own decisions on what is best to do. This can be a kind of heavy topic because we do run into risk, whether it's dangerous, life-threatening even, or maybe it's just higher stakes in other ways, financially, or your reputation on the line, or something like that. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and dive in here. Okay, let's start with a case study. So I am going to begin with a case study about one of my newer and younger friends. We'll call him Josh. Josh is flying to MDLS tomorrow at 8 a.m. He is so excited to go because he's new on the mission team and he's never been. He's young and needs his beauty rest, so he doesn't wake up too early, 6 at the earliest. And then obviously he needs his daily Starbucks fix, which he plans to get on the way to the airport. He forgot to organize a ride with his fellow missions team members, although he was reminded plenty of times. So he'll have to drive himself and park in the garage. So, and here's a 2 or 3 I want you to just talk to your neighbors right now. What do you think could go wrong for Josh? You have 30 seconds. Ready, go. Might take too long, yeah, all that stuff. Okay, great. Now, 30 more seconds. What do you think Josh could do to keep these things from happening? Ready to talk about this?
Up earlier.
Wake up earlier. Okay. SOS. Send an SOS to me. I don't know the real well. Support desk like emergency. What else we got here? Oh my gosh, you can start by security. Uber. Get a coffee on the plane, it's free. All right, last one. What do you think you would need to do if something does go wrong? Talk to some of your partners. Oh, welcome to flight. still. He could sleep through his alarms since he doesn't have anyone picking him up, so no one's going to really know he's not there. How can you prevent this? Leave for the airport earlier, skip getting coffee, maybe make a reservation for parking ahead of time, or if his teammates better. And then if something goes wrong, talk to the airline about other flight options, call the missions team to let us know that he's not going to make it. So these are the types of things that we're going to be talking about a lot today. And I want to just throw up here a word bank because we're going to be using these words a lot, and I want to help you see that you already know what they mean. So which of these, 1, 2, 3, is a risk mitigation strategy? 2. Number 2. Good job. Which of these would be considered contingency plans? 3. And which one of these is a list of risks? 4. Great. Same thing, Jen. I think you guys got it. Just kidding. But you do see that you already have a conceptual understanding of these terms and conceptual understanding of risk, mitigating it, and what to do if it actually happens. So just to define terms, risk is a situation involving exposure to a dangerous or undesirable event. Like I said, not all risks are life-threatening. Some just cost a lot of money, but some risks can be life-threatening. And there are some risks that maybe we don't immediately see as life-threatening, but they actually inherently are. So for instance, swimming at the ocean. I mean, most of the time things are going to be fine, but statistically speaking, on mission trips, that's the number 1 cause of death, swimming in the ocean. So it's these types of situations that, we just need to have this risk management mindset. What, was that scary? I'd rather tell you now than anything else happening, so. Okay. No one has died on a Lord's mission trip, I'll say that. That's because all the mission directors pay attention to me. Just kidding. Okay, risk mitigation strategy, an action that reduces exposure to a risk and or the likelihood of its occurrence. Things that you're just going to do to prevent risks from even happening, which is really what we want, guys. Prevention is key. And then contingency plan. The plan is designed to take a possible future events into account. So a plan that you have in place for what you would actually do if the risk happens. So you guys do this all the time. How many people set an alarm to wake you up this morning? How many people slept through the alarm? Do we have a contingency plan in place? My roommate's like I slept through my alarm on day 1, and in the back of my mind, my contingency plan was Amy will wake me up. And she, in fact, did very rudely and very late, but I didn't make it So you guys do these things all of the time. But what we want you to do is just kind of up your game a notch when we're on missions. And we really want you to just make sure that you are approaching the trip just with this state of just being situationally aware. So what is situational awareness? Well, first off, we want to be aware, we want to be alert, we don't want to be paranoid. We don't want to instill paranoia, and I'll talk about that in a second. But situational awareness is just the natural thing that you do when you're in an environment. When you're when you're just in any situation. So the first thing of situational awareness is just your perception. So you perceive what's going on around you. So some mornings in Denver, I wake up and I look outside and I perceive that, unfortunately, it's snowing. It sucks. I'm from Louisiana, so. And so I just see that it's snowing. The next step is I comprehend. Okay, what does that mean? Well, that means that my drive to work is probably going to take me longer than usual. And then I project the future then. So, okay, well that means I could be late for work. That's just situational awareness, looking out the window, seeing that it's snowing, and understanding what that means for me in the future. So that's just how you guys should be kind of walking around on mission. And then after that, after having that situational awareness, you use that information to decide what to do. Well, I guess I should leave a little bit earlier for work. And then I do that. And then I get to work on time. Great. So, like I said, many of you guys already think this way in certain situations, but on mission we just want you to have a greater situational awareness because you might be or you will be in situations that you're actually maybe not familiar with, and your students certainly aren't, and a lot of times our students and our leaders are just kind of walking around having a lot of fun, and you have to be the ones that's really watching out for things. Okay. And if this makes you nervous, just remember Jesus did it, and he will help you. He's on your team. We are on your team. But you might recognize this, Jesus helping Matthew out of the water. And I'm just going to read Matthew 14:28 through 31. It says, Peter answered him, Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water. He said, come. So Peter got out of the boat, started walking on the water, and came towards Jesus. But when he noticed the strong wind, he became frightened, and beginning to sink, he cried out, Lord, save me. Jesus immediately reached out his hand and caught him, saying to him, you have little faith, why did you doubt? Jesus had situational awareness. He perceived that Peter was in the storm. He comprehended that he was getting nervous, and then he knew that Peter was going to start sinking, so he immediately reached out his hand. And whenever you're in doubt, you can always just say, Lord, save me. But always just remember that the Lord has asked you, invited you, and you said yes to going on this mission trip, and he'll provide for you in every way. Okay, so just to clarify, this is not what we're asking of you.
I'm not making this up. These are real.
Okay.
Who has a safety deposit box full of money and 6 passports and a gun? Who has a bank account number in their hip? I come in here, and the first thing I'm doing is I'm catching the sight lines and looking for an exit.
I see the exit sign too. I'm not worried. I mean, you were shot. People do all kinds of weird and amazing stuff when they're scared.
I can tell you the license plate numbers of all 6 cars outside. I can tell you that our waitress is left-handed and the guy sitting up at the counter weighs 215 pounds and knows how to handle himself. I know the best place to look for a gun is the cab of the gray truck outside. And at this altitude, I can run flat out for a half mile before my hands start shaking. Now, why would I know that?
All right, so so you don't have to be quite like that, although he's really cool. And you can really strive for that. But I'm looking for more, even this is maybe a little bit above where you're at, because these guys have been, trained through years of fatherhood. And, but I will say God has given them the grace for the situation they find themselves in, and he'll give that to you too. But let's just watch these amazing men. Great, so yeah, these dads get it when their kids are, they're just ready for anything. They know that anything can happen with a child, right? And like when we do it too, when we were driving our car, when we were dating, the risk of an accident, right? When you're babysitting, hopefully you're like moving knives out of the way and stuff like that. So you already know how to naturally respond to these things. Yeah, and a lot of times you find yourself in a situation and things will kind of trigger you to think about like what are the risks here. So I want to ask you, what are some situations, and you can just yell them out on mission, that may trigger you to think about risk mitigation strategies?
Group travel.
Group travel.
Eating.
Nighttime travel.
Nighttime travel, yeah. Darkness.
Large crowds.
Large crowds.
Dogs.
Dogs. It's like
Running late.
running late. Yeah, okay, yeah. These are some things that we come up with. Nighttime traveling in all forms, including walking, food, handling money at the ATM, crowds, oceans, which I mentioned, at airports. If your group has to split up, like in a taxi or something like that. Animals, work sites, meals and stuff, and busy streets. So, great, I think you get the concept. We're going to dive into some of these situational triggers in the next talk. So, with this next video, I want you guys to practice your situational awareness. We'll see how good you really are.
This is an awareness test. How many passes does the team in white make?
Go!
The answer is 13. But did you see the moonwalking bear?
Go!
Okay, great. So you were doing exactly what the video asked you to do, and on mission, you might be doing exactly what you've been asked to do. You're not getting from point A to point B, but you weren't looking out then for maybe the risks that actually can be present. But you as a mission director, that's your job, to just do your best to not be distracted by things that are happening so that you can be the one who's aware. So on a piece of paper, I want you to just write down as many things you can think of that distract you and others from what is happening around you, specifically on a mission trip, what things might distract you. We'll take about 30 seconds of this. Okay, who wrote down 10 things or more? Okay. 8 things? 5 things? Okay, what were some?
Food,
Yeah.
money,
Money. Yeah.
cute kids,
Kids?
cute kids.
Cute kids. Yes, cute kids. Street vendors, street performers. Maybe even just like being in conversation with people while they're walking somewhere.
Or like looking for an address and it's
Looking for an address, being so focused on the same place. Yeah. Yeah, so there's lots of things that can distract us. So just be aware of those things. Okay. So I want to go back to this idea of paranoid versus cautious. Which of these people do you think somebody would rather pickpocket? That freaked out dude on the top, or the super chill girl on the bottom? I mean, I would say the freaked out guy, right? I mean, he looks like he's about to break down. He's good. His pockets are very available, right? So, so in general, just being like, a lot of things can be prevented, like pickpocketing and stuff. Just if you're just confident, you just act confident. And if you're not confident, then you just act it until you make it. It takes some to make it, right? And just, yeah, this is really important, especially in some places I remember arriving in Haiti, and it was just wild, and everyone is like trying to help you and take your bags and everything to their cabin and stuff like that. And you just have to be like ready in some airports or in some situations, maybe that there's a lot of taxis or whatever, and you have to act confident, and you say no, and you just are assertive, and you just keep walking, right? All of these things, there's obvious things that we can do to just like be confident, but walk with your head up, be decisive, look alert, make eye contact with people. In general, just act like you belong, and if somebody is offering you something you don't want, be calm but firm, right? And then breathe, always breathe. Right, so another reason that we talk about safety and risk management so much is not only to keep us safe and keep our group safe, but also for liability reasons. When you're on mission, your actions represent focus. So the choices that you make can impact the organization as a whole. It can impact our reputation. It can impact a lot of things. And so I know you can't control everything, but you do the best you can, keeping liability in mind. Risky opportunities. Sometimes we'll be on mission and we'll have a chance to maybe do something really fun, and you will just have to use your discretion as to whether or not it's actually a risk that we should be taking. And sometimes you might just have to be the bad guy and that's going to sink. But for sure, we don't want to pay for any, like, Focus is not going to pay for anything like zip lining or something like that. Just for liability reasons. But some other things we would never want to pay for would be something like this, or that. I love James Bond. That is such a sketchy zip line. We don't really want to ride motorcycles, but we're talking about that later. And you guys, moose are very scary. I mean, they're actually my favorite animal because I think they're really pretty, but a mom and her baby, and you're like 10 feet away, they're one of the most dangerous animals in the world. So just things like this. These are like risky things that we really just, it's not worth it. That moose could turn on you at any moment, right? Same with dares, practical jokes, and betting. I'm sure if Tom had continued to tell his story last night of the practical jokes that he and Tom got into, we would have heard some really bad ones that we should never do on mission. Actually, like 100% sure. But a lot of times these things can start off small, like what are the odds, and they can be harmless, but you don't want to let it turn into bigger things. They can just kind of keep getting bigger and bigger. And if something bad happens because somebody dared somebody else to do something, that is just gross negligence on our part, and we really could get in a lot of trouble for that. Plus, again, we want to keep people safe. And then lastly, we're on phones. Well, we ask our students not to use them, to keep them off. Never should we ever take them away from our students, just in case they do find themselves in an emergency and they actually need to use it. And that's also why we give every student the missions emergency card so they can use their phone to call in case of an emergency. So I used to do this. We used to leave our phones in America when we went to Togo, but we learned from that, so don't do that. Okay, so I'm about done. But in short, just pray hard, prepare well. Again, train your mind. It just takes a little bit of practice to be aware in these situations. And trust in Jesus because he has asked you to do this. So thank you guys.